Now, Tom, I know that this is going to be one of the questions that either you ask or someone else asked to Sam Pittman today. John Ridgeway posted a picture of him in the hospital, and I know there's always speculation when we don't know 100%. Have you heard anything? Is there any update on the Arkansas defensive lineman and his status for Rice?
Yeah, I understand it was an appendectomy, and there's different you can look at different sources for how quickly people can come back from an appendectomy. I think Matt Castle, when he was a quarterback of the Chiefs, had one, and I'm not exactly sure, but I think he came back the next week. And it really just depends on. There's a couple of different types of appendectomy procedures. So we'll just have to see, and I'm sure Sam will get asked about that.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's a microscopic incision where they could go in with the computers more or less now and do that, the healing time is a lot faster. But sometimes in an emergency situation, they just have to cut you open.
Yeah, and I'm not sure which one we're looking at here,
right.
But I do understand that it went well, and they expect him to be back pretty soon. But yeah, when you see a picture of a dude in a hospital, all kind of things it could have been, right? So I guess from that standpoint, it's on the good side for John Ridgeway.
Yeah, I know that he's going to be a guy that Arkansas, in particular Barry Odom and Jamal Ashley, are going to be counting on this fall to have production there. Tom, we've asked the question to our listeners, and I know it's different from your vantage point and your perspective as a journalist and a guy that covers the Arkansas Razorback, but you're going on, I think you've been here since, is it 07 or 08?
07 first season,
yeah. So you've been here quite some time. Do you have a tradition leading up to game week, a certain column, a certain story that you write heading in to game week?
Not necessarily. I mean, I do different things like questions going into camp and things like that, and I've done forecasts in the past. So this time around, basically year 2 under Pittman was the theme that we had in our Sunday college football tab. Clay Henry wrote the Grant Morgan feature story, and then I did something about how they were improved in year 2. And so you probably heard during the early part of camp me asking a lot of different people, how are y'all better in year 2? And it's just, comfort with coaching staff. You got all 3 coordinators returning, and just everyone essentially believing that they can win games. And, if quarterback play is up to par and KJ delivers when the lights come on, which has been, in very limited amounts of data we have, he has delivered when the lights have come on, then the Razorbacks could be a much better product in year 2.
Seems like one of the keys this weekend, as we really kind of zero in on Rice a little bit more, is they'll desire to be a clock-controlled, grinded-out offense to a great degree. The defense getting off the field on third down, which means you better be good on first and second down, seems to be like one of the cornerstones of the keys for the week.
Yeah, and that's why, they're going to need to be tough in the trenches in this game, to try to slow that running attack. And they are going to try to ball control you. You look at their scores from last year, the score of the Marshall game wasn't high scoring. And that's just their style right now. I think we're going to see both quarterbacks. It's Green and Luke McCaffrey, who's a true dual threat guy. So I think it's a nice challenge. I mean, Arkansas is favored to win the game. They should win the game, but you've got to answer the bell with some good challenges that they're going to present to you. And their defense is super veteran. And so, get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, block them up, and see if you can't have some explosive plays and, win special teams. Too many games last year they did not win special teams. And so I'm expecting a leap in that department this year.
You mentioned seeing potentially both quarterbacks for Rice. I guess that makes a lot of folks listening this morning wonder, will you see 2 quarterbacks for Arkansas? Will Malik Hornsby get a special package, a moment in the second quarter, third quarter somewhere? Do you think there's a design in place for Malik Hornsby to have a moment in this opening game?
Based on Sam Pittman's last presser, which was, I believe, on Friday, and someone asked him that, his response was, yeah, and that's something we could do. And so I think so. And I think they're really going to try to scheme up different ways to get him on the edge. because he admitted the Auburn game, they had a package for him, but it just, in retrospect, that, it was too predictable, basically. And so you want to build up his confidence, and you want him to be productive when he gets on the field. And so I get the sense that they probably will scheme up something to get Hornsby in.
Talking with Tom Murphy this morning, keeping it going with the quarterback conversation. I know that a lot of the national radio has been on Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Cam Newton, and it's hard to go back and forth between quarterbacks at a professional level, and the same could be said about college as well. Is that if Malik plays significant minutes or he gets in packages, Tom, do you anticipate that that's going to deter KJ Jefferson's confidence when he might feel like that Malik's nipping his heels a little bit?
I don't know if it would impact his confidence, because he's a very confident guy. He has the backing of the team, and I think he would understand that getting Hornsby valuable time is something that's for the good of the program in case he gets dinged up on a play or something, or he has to come out. I think when you're in it for the right reasons, you understand how a backup, needs to get that playing time. Mm-hmm. And the truth of it is, when he was a true freshman, maybe it would have served Arkansas better if he had gotten earlier playing time than the Mississippi State game. So we'll see how that goes. And I think KJ Jefferson will be just fine.
And on the subject of KJ Jefferson, he has been named captain along with Myron Cunningham, Jalen Catalon, Joe Fouché, and Grant Morgan. Any surprises there, or is that who you just kind of anticipating was going to be the five guys?
Yeah, well, four of them for sure, because it's been, I guess, a recent trend for Arkansas football, two on each side of the ball. I know there was a 1 year recently where it was three defenders. I went back looking, and I think it was Chad Morris's first or second year. It was McTelvin Agim and TJ Smith. I can't remember, maybe Scooter Harris, and it was a weird deal. Three defensive guys, but yeah, you could have easily predicted four of those guys. And Joe Fouché, the fifth, an extra DB, and I like it because I think Joe is a instrumental guy in the locker room, and he's a senior, and I think the guys really like him. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if his candidacy got a boost from Jalen Catalon talking him up as, a leader and those types of things, because Catalon is a team guy. I mean, wow, what a super guy. It'd be great to have him back another season. Although, the NFL might come calling after this year, but he's the fifth one, and I'm happy for him.
Second year for Sam Pittman. Tom, what do you want to see, or what are you looking for in a year two for Sam Pittman versus last year when you didn't have spring, COVID year, later start? What are your expectations of the head coach this year that you want to see?
Right. A little more time of possession on offense. A little better third down percentage. Maybe controlling the clock more on offense. On defense, getting off the field more on third down. And then, as he has stated, being a little bit more gambling on defense. Teams had to work their way down the field, especially when they were playing the drop eight schemes, but they had to work their way down the field to a large part. Now, Arkansas might try to force the action, get teams behind the sticks, force a little more turnovers, and so basically more aggression, and seeing their speed on display more in game situations, because you don't think of Arkansas as being a fast team in recent years, but now if you got Devion Warren back healthy, you can unleash guys like Jaquaylin Crawford and Bryce Stevens in slot who do have good speed. Try to get them matched up ISO against some safeties and maybe go deep, and defensively, Jalen Catalon, a very instinctive player. He homes in on somebody and he strikes. A little bit more of that from, say, a Joe Fouché. And the corners being able to display their speed. Dede Bishop, one of the fastest guys on the team. How does that translate on the field? And then, just being a better special teams unit all around. So those are the types of things I expect to see improving in year two.
Partly sunny, 91, the forecast right now, long range for the end of the week and for Saturday on game day. What kind of atmosphere is Tom Murphy expecting at kickoff at 1 o'clock Saturday?
Yeah, I think they're going to get close to 70,000 tickets distributed. I don't know if it'll be that much in the stadium. I talked to Hunter Yurachek on Friday, I believe it was, and he's jacked up about the potential for the team. This 1-2 out of the gate against Rice and Texas, former Southwest Conference teams, just kind of getting the season off to a good start there. And he sees the camaraderie. Grant Morgan talked about it, how let's say they'd have a walkthrough or something, or they'd have meetings, and then practice would be hours away, and guys would not go back to their apartments to grab a nap. They'd stay in the team room and play pool and cards and stuff and bond. And you heard that from many, many guys who came to the podium during camp, and that only translates into a more cohesive team and playing for each other more.
Tom, when we join us on Thursday, we'll get a more in-depth description of Rice. You kind of just laid out what it looks like, the weather, and you and Tommy were talking about that, but we'll get more into the minutia of what the Rice Owls are bringing to the table this Thursday.
Sounds good. Talk to y'all then.
All right. The start of the season is just around the corner, and if you're into sports betting, Bet Online is where you should go to win some money today. Whether it's live bets during games or future bets on who you think will win the championship, Bet Online has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online sports betting needs. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game or before the season starts, head on over to Bet Online and start playing today. That's Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts.